Hi, this is Mark Henry, author of Dancing with Energy, Healing, Magic, and Mysticism. I just wanted to talk to you today. Oh, by the way, I'm in a different setting now. I'm actually in my backyard. It's my pond behind me. Uh, anyway, enough of that. I just wanted to talk to you today about the subject of love magic. And love magic, I find to be one of the more interesting contexts in which magic can be brought to the table. And because when you're dealing with love magic, you're dealing with romance, love, sex, attraction, all those types of things. Attraction is often used in love magic because it is the first thing that gets two people together. That initial fascination, that initial chemistry. So, just wanted to talk about that today. So let's dig right in. All right. So there's actually two ways of approaching love magic from, I guess, in the beginning of a spell or working. One is you have to come up with a statement of intent, which is basically a statement of what you want to have happen. And you could do it one of two ways. You can do kind of a general statement of intent that says, I want someone to love me and to be physically attracted to me. And that's it. You could specify if it's male or female. You don't want to be too vague. However, to talk about the pros and cons of the general statement of intent is that when you are making a general statement of intent, you are casting a very wide net. In other words, there could be people coming up to you left and right. And what you're going to have to do is to kind of sort through these people because you were kind of vague in a sense. Okay, someone who could love and physically attracted to you. When you're saying things like that, you could attract people who are very much at odds with your values and your beliefs. May not even be a particularly good person, because I guess your criteria for your statement of intent was kind of vague. Now, some people, that's okay. They want to kind of pick and choose. They want to sort things out themselves. So, to each his own. The next part is to have a specific statement of intent, which would be something like, I want a female or male with blonde hair, blue eyes, 6 feet tall, interested in MMA, likes to work out, loves animals. So that's pretty specific. Now, if you are somebody who has very high standards and wants to stick to their guns, that's fine. Understand this, though. The magic follows the path of least resistance. So it's going to find the easiest channel to manifest what you want. So if it encounters multiple paths of resistance, it will either take kind of a while for it to manifest, or it won't happen at all. There might not be 300 people there may not be someone in 300 square miles of where you live. I mean, if you went on dating sites and stuff, you could increase those probabilities, of course, and that is what magic is about, kind of increasing probability in your direction for something happening. But keep that in mind. It really depends on what you want and kind of knowing the pros and cons of each approach. Next thing I want to talk about is on a slightly different subject. When you're approaching love magic, there are different degrees of light to dark. And I'll explain the light. The light side would be what I just talked about. You have a statement of intent. You gather your props. You gather conjure your helpful spirits, and you attempt to make something happen. So you're projecting that intent out into the world, and we're going to see what happens. That's the light. Now, a little bit more to the darker end, which I would kind of put somewhere in the middle, maybe to 50 to 60%, a little darker. That is when you specifically have someone in mind. I want him. Oh, she's the one. So that's when you have someone in mind and you're actually doing magic to influence them to come in your direction for a date or something even more intense than that. Now, why is this a little darker? Well, it's a little darker because you could be, and maybe, and what we call caging them. Sorry, I was thinking for the word. It is, in a way, violating their free will. Now, the way that love magic works, to kind of explain a little bit more what I'm talking about, in order for love magic to work at all, there has to be a small part of them that resonates with you, that desires you. It could be even at the unconscious level. Even if it's 10 or 20%, the magic will have something to work with to increase the desire within that person. Now, here's the thing. When you target somebody and they have 10 or 20%, let's say it's 20%, we'll be optimistic. There's 80% that is against it. There is some wisdom to that. That 80% that is within their psyche, they may have really good reason for not to get together with you. They may sense that you both don't have a lot in common. They may sense something about you that doesn't harmonize with them, and that there could be good reason for it. But what the magic does, it actually bypasses that and influences that in your direction, to your outcome, to your will, to your desire. So you may get that person that you want. However, you may get more than you bargained for. Because when this person comes to you, they're not going to be necessarily very rational. They're going to be going based on a strong desire. And you sometimes, well, I don't say you, some people want someone so bad that they're even ignoring their own values and beliefs. They just want this thing that they think that they want. And they get together, it becomes like, can it lead to an explosion? Because there is so much involved. You have two people who potentially have nothing in common, but they come together and they, has a poor outcome. So I don't approach love magic that way. I know some people do, and if you are interested in that, be sure that you understand the consequences. I still feel, and I've maintained this in other videos, that people are using magic before they work on themselves, and sometimes they need a healing to work out certain parts of their character and certain behaviors, and they use the magic to try to get something. Like if they get the perfect person, then everything will be okay. But you carry yourself wherever you go, and you will carry yourself when you've attracted this person with your love magic. And if you have relationship problems with your last 2 or 3 boyfriends or girlfriends, guess what? You're going to probably have the same thing until something happens to change that. Well, anyway, I'm kind of get off my soapbox. So that's the middle range. The dark side is when you actually are targeting somebody, and you're not only targeting somebody, but you're using a spirit or other type of advanced magical procedure to compel them through punishment. And I'll give you an example. There's this idea in magic, and it comes from Mexican Spiritism, of something called the Tranquil Spirit. The Tranquil Spirit is not one spirit. It refers to spirits that have died under unfortunate circumstances. And even more, it can refer to somebody who died who was not a particularly good person. They could have been a mass murderer. They could be a thief. They can be a seducer. They can have a whole range of behaviors that they were very good at, which weren't particularly good for society. And so what these magicians will do is they'll try to conjure this Tranquil Spirit, which is just basically a spirit that is restless. It has no peace of mind. It's wandering the earth. And they'll try to conjure this spirit in order to do its bidding. So what the Tranquil Spirit will do, once that the person works out a deal with them, is that the Tranquil Spirit will go and bring that person to them through very coercive means. The way that it usually plays out is that the Tranquil Spirit will punish that person by causing a decline in their physical health, their mental health. You know, from the outside, you know, this person, people might say, hey, you don't look right. You know, the person may start losing weight, having to go to the doctor, and the doctor not know what's going on. And they don't know, and from the victim's point of view, they're like, man, what's going on? What's happening? What's happening is this Tranquil Spirit has attached themselves to the person, and the only way that those symptoms will be lifted is if they go back to their former lover. The former lover is willing to exchange that, was willing to go through these circumstances in order to get their former lover, the one that is being targeted by the Tranquil Spirit. So, you know, I consider that very torturous, punishing. It's, for the record, it's not something I would ever work with. However, I consider it to be one of the darker aspects of magic. It's also dangerous. There are reports of this Tranquil Spirit, the one with reports of them working with them, and then the Tranquil Spirit, for some reason, will actually turn on the magician and cause havoc in their life. So I advise it's best not to even work with that. It is the darker side, as far as I'm concerned. By the way, as a side note, if you ever want to watch anything interesting, the old Twilight Zone episodes, and the ones that came out in the 50s and 60s, you can actually, probably on YouTube, you might be able to find it. There's one called the Chaser, and the Chaser is about a guy who desires this woman who will have nothing to do with him. So, and then he goes and employs somebody to give him something that will magically change things around. So this, again, would be sort of the medium to dark range of magic. But it's interesting to look at. I saw it the other day. Well, anyway, thank you very much for listening to me ramble on about love magic. And please like and subscribe. Please leave any comments or questions below. I promise to address them. So, see you later. Mark Henry, signing out.